So in this recording, I'm going to cover some of the false teachings of the world and how people are so easily deceived by them. I actually think that I covered this in another recording, but I can't really remember if I did or not. But there are Christians who are able to stand up against the false doctrines that we're being indoctrinated in order to believe. Like, there are people who can do that. And I think they're going to step up to the plate. You know, we probably got a couple of them who already have, but in case I haven't covered this on my channel directly, I wanted to cover it. So like, we have been taught to not question anything that scientists or researchers put out into the world. We've been taught to not question it. But nothing that they say is actually true, and we've just been taught not to question it. So it's kind of like how the enemies of God would simply say that our people have decided that this is the way it is and nobody questions that. So they're on the opposite ends of the spectrum. Like, we will say we represent God, God said this and you can't question it. So they have their people who are exactly the same, and they use science, and whatever they say is basically doctrine. I mean, it's doctrine. Like, they'll say, well, you know, the world is millions and millions of years old. Do you know that? Does any of us know that? We don't know that. But you know how we can't question it? We can't question it. And it's like that with the Big Bang. It's like that with so many different things. Like, I've read somewhere that the Big Bang, even by their own research, the Big Bang is impossible. But you notice how if you question it, there was something wrong with you for saying, I don't believe in the Big Bang. Like, you're an idiot. You're literally an idiot. And they are like that. I read somewhere that they're, you know, because of that Hadron Collider or whatever it is, like I don't know, there's something with that where they're saying that the Big Bang is impossible. So they're admitting it now. But before that, simply because they said it was like that, we couldn't question it. And and it's just like that with the dinosaurs. Like, they're saying, I don't even know what they're saying. Honestly, with the dinosaurs, I can't believe people hadn't questioned the whole thing with the dinosaurs before now. There were so many things wrong with their theory about the dinosaurs going extinct. There were so many things wrong with it. Like, I was like, how could just the dinosaurs die? Regardless of what happened, how is it that just the dinosaurs died? Nothing else died. Like, you have all these living creatures on this planet who are basically eating the same food and it happening in the exact same environment as the dinosaurs, but only the dinosaurs die. Why just the dinosaurs? Why didn't the crocodiles die? What's the difference between a dinosaur and a crocodile? Like, I don't even know the difference. They say crocodiles are just as old as the dinosaurs, yet they lived. So, you notice how, like, when they come up with theories for these things, when you really think about it, it doesn't make any sense. But because Satan's people have control over the world and they say it, we just believe it. Like, they teach it in school and we're not allowed to question it. We're literally not allowed to question it. So there's a thing, and I saw it on YouTube, where they were talking about fossilization and how that's wrong. So that's wrong too. But I didn't need that. I already knew that they were wrong from the beginning. I don't need to watch these things. I already know. But I'm just saying, for other people. So these scientists are basically going out of their way and coming up with their own doctrine in order to say that Christianity is wrong and God doesn't exist. And their doctrine can't hold up to scrutiny at all. And, and when you really think about it, it's just like I said, that you can't really debate a Christian who understands the Bible. Like, one who really understands it. You could not debate these people. And I said that in another recording. If a person really understands the Bible, he's going to win. He's just going to win. Like, they have these false people who cannot really defend the Bible at all because they have no real spiritual insight. They can't defend it. And they will be the ones that the Satanists go after. They'll go after someone who literally is just saying, I'm a Christian, and doesn't have any kind of spirituality with them at all, and get these people and have their people try to argue with these people. But these people are not arguing with the right people. They're arguing with their plant, their person, who they know they can beat. That's why they never argue with me. Nobody's arguing with me. They know better. They're not going to do it. They're just not going to do it because they're going to lose. So bottom line is they choose the people they want to argue with, and so that they can win. And any Christian with actual spiritual insight can protect the Bible, easily protect it. It'll easily make sense. Everything will easily add up. We're not even struggling with it. If you look at biblical teachings, All the things that they're talking about, all the things they're talking about, how they're defending science, all these things fall short. From the Big Bang all the way down to the age of the planet. How they're saying the planet's millions of years. How would you know it's millions of years? Then when they said they can carbon date, they got it wrong with carbon dating so often that they will change the carbon date of things multiple times. We've seen this with the pyramids. They will come back and redact and redact and redact. I'm thinking, if this is an exact science, how could you go back and say you were wrong and change it if it's an exact science? That doesn't even make any sense. I was like, if your method works, how could you reinterpret whatever more than one time? What happened the first time? Why didn't you get it right the first time? See, these people are all working towards discrediting God because they're not on God's team. Like, it's just like the people out here. When you see the truth of the people, like how they pretend they're normal when they're not normal. Like these will be the same people pretending they're normal people and nothing weird is happening, and everything, all the weird stuff is happening. You notice how they can hide it though? Like they hide it. Like nobody sees it, only we'll see it. We'll see it. Like they come after us and they're pretending nothing's going on. Everything's going on. They're lying about that. And the scientists are lying. Scientists will say, whatever, we millions of years ago, blah, 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 blah. Millions of years this, millions of years that. And you know what? You know what? They have their people and their teachings to try to back this theory up. They have their people and their teachings, and people don't question their stuff. They only question us. They only question us. They only question our doctrine. They don't question their doctrine. I'm like, well, yeah. So the pyramids of Giza, you said, how old are they? How many times have you changed that answer? How many times have you got it wrong? Like, how many times you got it wrong? How many times they'll just say anything, they'll make up any number, we don't know. Well, how would you know? The fact is, fossilization was a perfect example of this. Fossilization was a perfect example of this. There was someone who literally just so perfectly, just completely destroyed what they were saying about that in every way you could possibly think of. It literally made no sense. Like when you think about it, it literally makes no sense. Like how certain creatures get fossilized and when in the act of eating, or jellyfish get fossilized. How could a jellyfish possibly get fossilized? Think about that. Like they have been fossilized. And these things would happen all the way from the dinosaurs. And I'm thinking, you know, with the dinosaurs, you want to hear something interesting, an interesting theory about the dinosaurs. So they say these things about the dinosaurs and nothing else died, not even crocodiles or other things that are very similar to the dinosaurs. When you really think about it, what's the difference between a Komodo dragon, a crocodile, and a dinosaur? What's the real difference between these three things? Well, the dinosaurs died. Certain dinosaurs were all, like the dinosaurs that would have been a problem for us died. We could say it like that. Or we could say, you know what? Something happened that we just do not understand. Like God just wanted them to die, really. God wanted them dead. That was it. And the only explanation you need is that God wanted them dead. That was all the explanation you need. So one of the things, like, I'm going to say this, and it's not in the Bible, but if you really think about it, it gives you something to think about, but it's not in the Bible. God is not really, God has this thing, like God, in the Bible, God kind of says that he's not the biggest fan of serpents. And I just wanted to just kind of say that. So we have serpents referenced in the Bible. From the serpent that became a snake that was cursed, all the way from Satan being considered a dragon. From the Leviathan, so we have these serpents. And God's relationships with serpents apparently isn't good. That's all I can really say. So there's a spiritual thing with the serpent. So the original sin came from a serpent that was cursed by God. And Satan is a serpent. He's considered a serpent. So serpents, God, there's some friction there. That's all we really know. Like God and the serpents, there's some beef or something. Like God is not the biggest fan of serpents because every time he references a serpent is negative. So he has a negative image of serpents. He cursed the snake. The snake is cursed. The snake was cursed by God. God literally cursed it because he just, what he did, the serpent did that and he was cursed. So that's a curse. And Satan is a serpent. So think about it like this. Whatever the dinosaurs represented as a species and their serpents, God didn't like it. And he was like, you know what? I'm just going to wipe you out. And that's oversimplifying it, but what we do know is that God and serpents, maybe not, not, I don't know, like I'm not saying that he hates all serpents, but there's something there with that, could possibly be something with that. Dinosaurs go extinct, and God saying in the Bible that serpents and him really not getting along. Not getting along, because they're always held by, there's like a negative image, like God has this negative, he's projecting negativity towards serpent beings, like serpents like dragons, and Leviathan is a serpent, and all these things he's saying are negative, like the Satan is a serpent, so Satan is a serpent, so these serpents, these lizards or whatever, and Satan is like snakes, Satan is like lizards. And I don't know how much of a coincidence it is. You notice how Satanists always have snakes and stuff? Like they like these beings. I don't like snakes. I don't like snakes. I once saw a snake, and I'm telling you, it was almost like it was hostile towards me for no reason. I saw the snake and literally didn't like it. And it didn't like me. I almost got the vibe it just literally just didn't like me, honestly. I'm just saying, it didn't like me. It was kind of like moving towards me or something. I was like, okay. And my father had to kill it. So all I'm saying is that in the Bible, it's saying God's not the biggest fan of serpents. And he curses them, and he's saying the devil is one. And the serpent was working against them in the Garden of Eden. The serpent was working against them. So we have these dinosaurs, and they're all serpents. And he's like, and then God was just like, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, God could have wiped them out because he didn't like them. He didn't like them. And this was well before we even knew there were dinosaurs. So before we knew dinosaurs went extinct, God already said in the Bible he doesn't like serpents in his own way. He's saying that. And they just so happen to be serpents. They just so happen to go extinct. They just so happen to go extinct. So the only creatures that go extinct are these creatures that God already says he doesn't like. He references them all the way from the beginning of time to Satan himself being a serpent. And Satan is a serpent. He's a dragon. A dragon is like a dinosaur. So the point is that there's connections in all of this. And I'm not here to explain the connection. Everything is connected. Everything is connected from the dinosaurs going extinct to God's disdain for serpents in general. And I don't need to explain it to you. You guys don't understand the universe or cosmic anything. You don't understand. People, you have your scientists who think they're so smart. These people think they're so smart. You notice how they are. They're out there telling a bunch of gangbangers what to believe, and gangbangers aren't that, you're really intelligent. They can tell them anything. They're not going to question anything. They don't have that. That's the smarts, okay? Well, they don't. Look at them. They rob and steal and, attack people, and, they steal something out of the store or something. They think that makes them clever. Look. The bottom line is people need to wake up and see it for what it is. There is ample evidence to discredit all these theories that go against the Bible. Ample evidence for anybody with an open mind who's willing to look for it. So with that said, let me go ahead and close.